All right, are you ready? So your worksheet you have today has a lot of word problems on it. And that's where you're going to practice the things that we just did in the prior video. So you have to know how to set these up, and the substitute can help you with this, like setting them up. If you need some help, he's got the key, and I'll just tell him that for the first two maybe, that have you guys try it, and then he can help you set it up. But think about this. There's always an x and a y in these equations, right? So there's two things that are unknown. So if we look at these word problems, a nature center charges $35.25 for yearly memberships and $6.25 for single memberships. So usually you can find in the sentences the two things with a number beside them. So beside the yearly membership is $35.25, and beside the single membership is $6.25, right? So the two things that we've got is we have a yearly membership and then there's a single admission. And you decide what letters you want to have go with these. So like there's an X and a Y, you can use A and B, whatever letters, but I'm going to use X and Y. And I'm going to make the Y be the yearly membership because it has a Y with it. And then X I'll make be the single admission. So if you look at this also in the numbers, there's always going to be two totals. So I'll box those. There's a 50 and then there's a 660, 50. And I'll tell you right now that money goes with money. So if you ever see the money ones, what I mean by that is the yearly membership is $35.25. And if you want to figure out the total cost, you take the number of yearly memberships and you multiply it times $35.25. So this is going to be $35.25 times Y. So there's the Y up there, plus $6.25 for a single admission. And that equals one of these number totals, either the 50 yearly memberships or the 660, 50. So money goes with money, so $35.25 is money, so is $6.25, so it's going to go with the money total, 660, 50. Okay, so that's the first equation. The second equation has to do with the other total, the 50. So think about it. This is a total of 50 yearly memberships, and so we're buying either a yearly membership or a single admission. Those are the two things that we're comparing. So we'll put the Y to represent the number of yearly memberships, and is plus single admission. We chose the letter X to go with that. So Y plus X equals 50. That's the total of the yearly memberships plus the total of the single admissions, and that's the total of admissions and memberships that were purchased. Let's see, combined total. Okay, so again, we've got the money things times the letters that correspond to them, and that equals the total that's the money. All right, so now from here we just follow the same steps that we did before. We need to take one of these equations and make it either X equals or Y equals. Well, I see a Y and I see an X on the second equation. So I'm going to take the second equation, and over here I'm going to write Y plus X equals 50. And you can choose whichever one you want to solve for. I'm going to solve for X on this one. You can solve for either one. It works the same both ways. So I solve for X. X equals 50 minus Y. So this is what goes into my other equation. The other equation, the X, is right there. So I'm going to write that over here. So this 35.25Y plus 6.25X. Now X is what we're going to stick that in there, equals 660. Make this a little bigger. There, 660, 50. Okay, so there's our equation that we are going to, this is, all I did was rewrite the original equation over on the left. And now I'm going to do the substitution step. So I'm going to take 35.25 and rewrite it with the Y. And instead of the X, Remember, x equals 50 minus y. I'm going to put the 50 minus y in there. And this is where your calculator might help with one like this, because you're going to have a lot of multiplying to do. So go ahead and use your calculator on this one to multiply this, but let's do this. 35, 25y, distribute. So we end up with 312.50 minus 6.25y equals 660.5. Okay, then the next step, even though it's weird numbers, you still are going to go and multiply or combine your like terms. So if I combine the 3525y with the 6.25y, I'm going to end up with 29y plus 312.5, and that equals 660.5. Then I'm going to subtract 312.5 from both sides. And you end up with 29y equals 348. Then divide by 29. And y equals 12. So there were 12 yearly memberships purchased. Then we need to figure out how many there were of the single admission. Well, the deal is that x plus y equals 50, right? So that means that instead of x plus y, I can write 12 plus x equals 50, because I'm taking this y now and I'm replacing it with 12. Subtract 12 from both sides, you end up with x equals 38. Okay, so there's the y value. I'm going to box it. You need a boxer so you can find it, but then you have to write a sentence that tells me you know what this means. So you would write, there were 12, and 12 goes with y, so that's yearly memberships. Yearly memberships. And 30 single admission admissions sold. Okay, and then put a nice little box around it. Whew, we're done. Okay, so steps again. Number 1, define your variable. Number 2, write your equations. Okay, number 3, do the substitution. You solve and then find your y. So 4 is to solve. And then the last thing is to find the other variable. Well, not the last thing, almost the last. And then you're going to write your sentence. That tells me you know what it means. And that took a long time, didn't it? All right, so we're going to switch to the next one. So let me go to the new one. The new one will be Note 6.2 Word. So for this one, we're just going to write the system for this one. I'm not going to solve this one, but we'll solve another one. The system on this one, there are 2 things happening here. The business has a total of 25 rentals. That's important. And collects $450 for the rentals. So those are our 2 totals. We'll write that right now. Equals 25 and equals 450. Money goes with money. So we're looking at inline skates at $15 per day and bicycles for $30 per day. So let's define our variable. I'm going to call skates K because my S's always look like 5, so we're going to use the K. So the number of skates rented and B equals the number of bicycles rented. Okay, so money goes with money, so the $15 times the number of skates plus $30 times the number of bikes. And then the top one is, I call this how much, how many. So this is our how much, and this is how many. So this is a how much, how many one, because we're talking about quantities on the other total. So how many is how many skates and how many bicycles. So that would be the system of equation that goes with that. Okay? All right, so you try to figure out what the equation is that goes with this before we go and solve this one. So pause it if you can. All right, so there's two jobs. One is Pappasito's. So this is the amount of time, let's see, hours at Pappasito's. Whoops. Okay, and then we also have another thing that we're looking at is babysitting. Okay, and then let's see, $9 an hour for Pappasito's. That's important. $12 an hour for babysitting. Ooh, like to be a babysitter, huh? Last week she earned a total of $150. Money goes with money, so 9 times Pappasito's plus 12 times babysitting equals the total of $150. Then she worked at Pappasito's 5 hours longer than she did babysitting. So Pappasito's ends up being more money. So to figure that out, or more hours, so to figure that out, you're going to take Pappasito's is going to equal the babysitting plus 5. So for this one, the nice thing is, and that comes from this, 5 hours longer. The thing about this one is the B plus 5 is already set up for you to plug in for P. So we're going to plug in B plus 5 for the P plus 12B equals 150. So this is 9B plus 45 equals 12B. Oh, plus 12B equals 150. And then you're going to combine your like terms. You get 21B plus 45 equals 150. So 21B, take away 45 from both sides, equals 105. So B equals 5. And then if we want to figure out Pappasito's hours, we're just going to take that and put it in the P equation. P equals 5 plus 5. So P equals 10. Box those answers and then write your sentence. Okay, so there it is. All right, pause it if you need some time. I've got to move along so I get within my 15 minutes. All right, so the next one, we're looking at two quantities. I'm going to pause this and set up the quantities and the equations for you, and then we'll go on. Okay, here's the first equation for this. I defined the variable. She normally earns $12 per hour, so that's regular. And then over time, she works $18 per hour. And in 1 week, she earned $840. So that week, she worked twice as many normal hours as overtime hours. So the number of overtime hours times 2 equals her normal hours. So this is what goes right there. And I'm going to leave you to solve this one and see if you can do it. When you're done, you should get 20 overtime hours and 40 regular. If you'll check back on your OneNote and look at this, then you can actually see the work that goes with this on the notes. All right, so do your work. I'll do the best you can. Remember, the substitute can look at some of the answers, and I'll help you when I return. All right, and have a great Thanksgiving if I don't see you. Maybe I'll see you Friday. I don't know. See you later. Bye.